Hello guys, welcome to my channel Fun for You Academy. So in the previous class we have discussed about the how to configure the databases and how to set up the databases using SQL to Informatica Power Center and IICS. So in today's class let's discuss about the SQL sessions. So if you be perfect in SQL only, then we can be perfect in Informatica. So my request you to all, uh, kindly please listen carefully and practice it very well as I mentioned. So let's before starting to the session, please do subscribe and click the bell icon for more information. So let's start our class. So here we are going to have the databases, right? If you take SQL or any other databases, we do have a lot of databases, right? So we have databases like RDBMS, okay, Relation Database Management System. Most of them we have Relation Database Management System. In our real-time project, most of the source system on-premises server like OLTP system, transaction database. So whatever the front end tool, they are connecting most of the application running on the RDBMS. In real time project, you might be having Oracle database. It will be like 21C or any other versions. So from Oracle Corporation, then we will be having MS SQL Server. If the company is using Microsoft project, then they will be using MS SQL Server, or we might be using Netizen. We might be using IBM DB2 or different open source servers like MySQL or different databases like Teradata. Different databases we might be using. So for even ETL developers, so for ETL developers, it's like a cloud ETL developer, like any data analyst. If you go and check in the chart, the survey in the everything ETL wise, Informatica is the leading company. So most of the banking, insurance, and healthcare and telecom industries, they are using ETL, this Informatica Professional Center, and IICS for ETL related projects. So if you are going for any ETL developer or data analyst role or business analyst role, always any role, any if you're going with, definitely this SQL is more essential for this. And you will be having business analyst role, any role, data engineer, going to this SQL related project. Definitely this SQL is very important. Even if RDBMS, we are going for any cloud. For example, in the cloud side, we are working in the cloud. IICS will be having definitely via cloud on our data warehouse environment, data lake environment. If you take if, if you take cloud, For example, in the cloud side, if you are working in the cloud, IaaS will having the cloud. IaaS will be definitely will having the cloud on our data warehouse environment, data lake environment. If you take cloud in AWS, yes, we'll be using Redshift, right? Redshift is one of the data warehouse environment or data lake environment. For this, if you want to query this Redshift, yes, I need to know SQL concept very clearly. So if you take GCP, yes, we have the. If you take GCP, yes, we have the BigQuery. Nothing but again, it's a data warehouse and data lake. So if you go to real-time project, yes, we might be using this GCP BigQuery. It's one of the data warehousing and data lake environment on that Google platform. So okay, Google platform and even AWS, yes, we are using. So AWS we are using here. In GCP Azure we are using all this, right? Even if you are going NoSQL DB, like the data we are getting, like the columnar we are storing like different. No, SQL DB also, not only SQL, that's the meaning, but still we are using some SQL concept over there. So if you know this SQL concept very clearly, so working with other cloud technology, or even if you are going for here, I'm going with Snowflake. Okay, Snowflake SQL mostly 95%, 95% is uh, we are going for Snowflake SQL. 95 percentage it is related to Oracle SQL only. So if you know Oracle SQL very well, then Snowflake SQL is very easy. So if you are going to work with a real-time project, means like AWS, GCP, Snowflake, Azure, like this, definitely you will work with Snowflake data environment. Definitely we will use the data lake environment. If you want to query the data lake environment, Shift or BigQuery or data lake environment, all the SQLs are needed. Not exactly with Oracle SQL, but little bit it will be changed, but similar. If you if you concentrate any one SQL very clearly, then working with any other SQL are very easy. Okay, so that's why I recommend you to go for complete SQL. Learn complete SQL, complex SQL, and working with joins. Mostly, if you go for, even if I'm going for any interviews, even for now, for any client interview or data warehousing projects, the client very first they will test as one only on the SQL very first. Then only they will go for the how strong in SQL can you rate yourself. Then only they will go for other tool, data warehousing concept, data lake concepting, and ETL concept. So how strong your Informatica Power Center, IACS, all this. So that's why SQL are very important. As I told, even I worked in Shift, BigQuery, everything, but I haven't learned separately for this SQL. So what are we have learned here on our Oracle SQL server? It is Teradata, MySQL, all those are similar. So 99% is everything is similar, but somewhat some tools commands are different. So everything, every databases is similar. So here in Oracle database, if you take the database, we are going to split up into in real-time project. This is the database. The server will be running in the cluster, and yeah, 21c is nothing but a cloud-based database computing all this. Previously we having G is nothing but grid-based computing, and yeah, that's what we are going to use. So if you see the database we are going to split into multiple schemas. Okay, the database has multiple schema in Oracle. If you take in here in SQL server, it is Teradata or any databases like even the Snowflake also, the entire server we are going to split up into different schemas, databases here. The databases, the one database we are going to split into multiple database, right? So Teradata, the subset we call is the Teradata. Yes, the Teradata. Yes, we will call it for one database. We will split up into multiple database. This is subset database. So we will split the object as per the logical object based on your user roles and access of the privileges. We can able to have read and write access, okay, execute access, all the permissions, the permission access privileges, everything will be taken by care by DBA, database administration. But if you take Oracle databases here, so 21c or any other server, so we do have schemas, right? You know, we do have schemas, right? This like a user schema. This is one user schema, this is one user schema, this is other user schema. So this schema we will call it as system user. Okay, and this system user we call it as a HR user. And this, so we can have a number of schemas here, and we can create a number of schemas here. These users are split. We can have the separate logical vision. Okay, it's like a logical division. Each and every schema will have separate objects. The object in the sense we will having the tables, and we'll having the views, and we'll having the sequence, and synonyms and index. So this way we'll having the different objects for each and every schema. We'll have different objects. Okay, so this particular schema will have different object. This particular schema will have different objects. So if you have access to this particular schema, I have access to the HR schema, so I can able to access only this schema only, right? We cannot access any other schemas, tables, or we cannot even view tables, everything. So, and here, the same way, if you have access to one database, this database, if you have access, the other database cannot have. The other databases we cannot have access. Okay, so remember this. So we will call it as this, as database 1 and database 1. So some different name we will call it as. And who will control all the users? The system will control all the users. So we're going to have all this user. This username is HR and password is HR. So here also we're going to have the core, and what we are going to do now. So for Informatica and IICS or anything, we will keep this as a source and this is as target, and again this Oracle as source and AWS as target, and Oracle is source and GCP is target, and Oracle is source and Snowflake is target. Or if you have any other databases from this, you can keep it. Okay, different databases is from different vendors, different Oracle, Microsoft, Netezza, IBM, DB2, MySQL, open source, and Teradata Corporation, and we do have Teradata. We can have different databases in the market. Most of the banking and everything, they are using this kind of database only. So if you are having any one database, uh, SQL queries very well, working with other databases is very easy. So what I mean to tell is, if you work with the SQL means, so it is everything is relatable with other databases. Most 99%, 99% everything is same. Only 1% the functionality and the some components may be changed. So if you have good knowledge in SQL, so every database is similar to it. Okay. So here, if we take any other databases, for example, Teradata, yes, Teradata we can have, and we can have the MS SQL server database. In order to interact with these databases, we are going to use the SQL. We are going to use the language SQL. Okay, SQL is the language. Sometimes if you are going for any interview, sometimes they will ask to the candidate, what is the databases you are working in your project. They will say SQL. Okay, so SQL database. SQL is the language. So they will, I'm not sure whether they are referring to this SQL server database. Okay, Microsoft SQL Server, they will say, simply say that SQL. Then, so remember, SQL is the language. These are all the database. If I want to interact with this database, then we need to have the SQL language. So if you want to interact with these databases, we need to know the language called SQL. But this SQL is little bit differ for each and every database. In real, we are using Netizen. In this database, if you want to query this, I have to use some tool. So DB Visualizer is one of the application. So front end GUI tool, we can go for DB Visualizer. So through DB Visualizer we can connect. Even this particular Redshift also we can connect DB Visualizer only. Okay, but GCP and all, it's a direct. We can use some directly. We can go to the site and we can use, or we will having the notebook. Okay, and here other applications are there, like different GIS are there. We can use only one GUI. So for example, we can use SQL developer, or we can use Toad for Oracle. Different front-end tools we can use it. Toad for Oracle. So we can use SQL developer to connect with this HR database. Okay, we can use this DB visualizer to connect with the HR. Anything we can use it, and we can use Toad for with Oracle. So these are all GUI front end tool. It might be any tool. It can be a SQL developer, DB visualizer, or Toad. Can use any front end tool. Sometime we will use directly to connect to these servers. From the server we can go to SQL place, and the SQL place will say we will connect with the queries, and we will execute on site. We can use any GUI tools. So these are all graphical user interface. But from the front end tool, from client, we have to connect with servers. Okay, we can connect with server. I want to connect with Netiza, but I have to connect with Netiza, or our team members. I need to get the Netiza details, server details, database details, and everything. But I have to connect from the DB user visualizer or any other tool. Just I will connect it and I will use it, right? And in the same way, I can connect with Oracle database, any other database I can work with. The same thing we are going to follow here. So just I have three schemas here. One is administration, this is source schema and target schema. So source is user. So if you go to this user means we do having different users, other users. See, so if you take this, HR is one of the user in this. So in this other user, these users we have other information, core user, some other users. Okay, but who will control all this? The DBA will control. In real-time project, we will not do it. Okay, so who will create schema? in real-time project. Okay, if you ask me, who will create the schema in real-time project means normally DBS will create the schema. Okay, DBA will create the schema. For example, in my project, I want to create new schema in my project means then I have to take approval from my client and I have to submit the request and they will create the schema for us, right? Or what are the schemas are available. So from that schema, we will get the data, we will process it. So this system owner, this system user will be handled by the DBS. The DBS will handle it. They will handle all other user schemas, performance, servers, all this they will handle it. So here we are having the username is system and password is admin and password is admin. If you ask me, can I create n number of schemas here means yes, we can create by using this system schema. So if any other user got logged means, for example, HR schema got logged means, so we have a query alter user HR identified by password, count and log. So if you use this one in real-time project means we will have access. We will have access to this schema. Okay. So we have to go to administration user. Here we have to execute. Okay. It's showing like it's so it's showing that HR user has altered. So in real-time project, we cannot, we don't have access to unlock everything. This one give access. So only DBS can handle this one. Okay. So if you want to create the user schema means create user code identifier code. So this is the permission. So after that we need to give grant like connect resource to core. So then the permission will be given to the particular users. This is the normal, this like this we will normally follow. So schema is the what is schema? Schema is nothing but it's a logical division of the group object. Each and every schema we have separate tables, views, sequence, synonyms, index. Okay, if you go and check here manually, if you want to check here the tables we are saying views, indexes, and these are packages. It's a PL/SQL concepts like packages, procedure, functions, and triggers, sequences, materialized views, synonyms, public synonyms. All this we are going to use here. So these are different objects are available for each and every schemas. So we can have a number of schema and real-time project. Whatever the schemas you have access, we can connect with this particular object. Like if you are connecting with the user, yes, sometimes how they are handling it a real-time project. If you based on the your database, okay, we are privileges everything. We are connecting with the DB user visualizer. So it will show you whatever the access we have for the schemas. It will show us. Okay. I hope you are clear what is the model going we are going to use. This is what the databases we are going to have. Okay. In addition to Oracle database, if you want to work with, yes, we can install any other databases. And if you ask me for IICS, do I need to start with AWS, GCP, Snowflake, all this? Means, do I need to learn all this? I will tell you, for AWS, we do have a lot of services. The same way, GCP, we do have a lot of services. And all the services we cannot learn. Okay, only AWS developer, GCP developer, they will learn it. As a cloud ETL developer, at least some services like we need to go for AWS, we can have S3, right? Simple storage services, and we can have the Redshift. So Glue is nothing but AWS ETL services. Okay, Glue we have. How we have the ADF in Azure Database Factory. In Azure we have the same way we have the Glue, and GCP also we have different services. Okay, so Glue we have and Tina we have, so different services are there. At least for some services, start learning these services. And if you take GCP, yes, GCP we have the BigQuery we have the one of the services, and other services are there. I will tell you while taking the Informatica and IACA service. Then you can start learning. For Informatica, for if you are going to learn for Informatica for Center also, start learning for this one. Then we can have the added advantage. It's very easy only. Learning the Snowflake is very easy. We are not going to do Snowflake developer, but we are going to use Snowflake as a target data warehouse, and we are going to load the data. Okay, some from Informatica. This concept I will take later, but for always SQLs are important. So that's why I'm always telling you that SQL is much important. Okay, we need to learn SQL completely to start all these tools. So here HR schema is nothing but source. It will have the 7 tables. So in my machine I have the lot of tables. See, around 20 tables we have tables. We can create a number of tables in one schema. If the space is not enough means, then we can increase the table space. So if you Google it, we can get the query for the table space. Okay, then we can put many tables, and we can have this HR schema. By running this HR schema, so lot of different versions are there. So latest version for Oracle is 23C. It's C means it's nothing but the cloud. Okay, cloud computing. Okay, before the thread computing, now it is cloud computing. Okay, always. So different versions are there. So if 23C is available, Express Edition available means I will post some video how to install this one. Okay, you can install it and you can import the HR schema, then you can start working on it. So version is not a issue for us. So why? Because we are going to work on SQL queries. So 99% SQL similar. Only few keywords will not be same, will not be available in 11G, but most of the features are available. Okay, but the latest version is 23C. That's a recent latest version they have introduced. Okay, so here we can keep the HR version, HR schema. So why do we learn all this in some SQL concept means if we are going to work on real-time project means all are like a tables, right? Here I have one table, here I have one table. So all the tables are related with each other. So here we having lot of tables like dimension modeling. You should have already some little knowledge I think you have on dimension table, right? So this is the one we are going to keep in the dimension table and fact table all this year. So tables are interconnected with each other. So the tables are interconnected with each other, right? Like we will connect it and we'll get the keys from a dimension table and we will load it. This dimension table I will take it later, okay? But these joints are very important. It's like a 7 table, but in real-time project it might be even 20 tables, 30 tables, or more than that also. So all are like interconnected. So common column with some intercommon column, they will be interconnected with each other. So the key values from we cannot keep all the tables, all the data from each table. So for that, to avoid the data redundancy means repeatness. To avoid the data redundancy, we will split the data into multiple tables and keep it here based on the data model. Based rate of business, we will keep the business in different way, and we will capture it all the data from tented applications, and from here we will load it into the data warehouse for different reporting. So for an example, as a ETL developer, we are going to load into target table. On top of the table, some hundreds of business rules are running. It is created lot of reports. Okay, okay, for the business team. Always we are working with a business team for their business related data reports. So for us, it's a data warehousing report. We always create a reporting. Okay, in order to work with these tables, joins and everything, we should know the structure of table and everything. So that's why the tables and joins are very important. Always in real-time project, on top of the table, they will create a view. Okay, for each and every table, for the security reason, they will not give access to the particular table. Okay, they will create a view on top of the table. So this concept I will take at last. So this views concept is useful in your data warehousing concept as well. So most of the reporting will be taken from views only. The downstream applications are consuming the data and from views only. So that's what we'll take. So this is called data model. So we'll create the data modeling while taking the data warehousing concept. I will explain the data model. Okay. So in order to work with database in real-time project, so we need to understand the data types. So